Okay, so we're back out on the water at Hayes Castle, and the conditions this morning, it's pretty damn cold, dead flat, bright sunshine. So I put the kettle on this morning, watching out, and all I've seen is a few brown trout moving. I've not seen much else move. Now the fishing for this time of the year would normally be pretty predictable. But what I'm finding is until you're out there, you can't really predict anything. Years gone by, for this time of the year, it would most definitely be a slow intermediate and your lure's on there. And the fish are beefing up, ready for the winter. The things are changing, most definitely. A few of the boys over the last few days have been using the lures and the fishing. It's slow. But what I've found is fishing on the floating line, longer tippets, and moving the small flies, small nymphs, buzzers, and throughout the day, it's slow fishing, but throughout the day you're getting numbers. Let's put it out, keep contact, keep that tension there, keep contact, and let it drop. I was just looking now, I heard Steve shouting, he's got himself a fish on already. Don't know if you can see him down there. He's bent into a fish. That's his first of the morning. I'll check what he's fishing with now. He's certainly on the floating line. I think he might have a lure on actually. But what I'm going to do, I've set up floating line, 3 fly cast, and I've gone with one of my olive nymphs on the point. I've got a dowel above that and a sort of spider pattern on the top dropper. I'm hoping to get a response. Obviously I'll have the glasses on, I'll be watching carefully for any follows and just go through the water as quick as I can. What I'm going to be doing now is just fan casting around this area, and I'll just work my way down. Water quality here is good, so if there's fish that are sitting a bit deeper and they're wanting to take this, they'll certainly see this one of these flies and you should come up for it. That's the only thing I've got. There's a fish on the float. There he is, and he's on. I'm sure there could even be a brown trout. No, it's a rainbow. I'll land him by here because it's a bit shallower. I'm straight into very deep water by there. Let's see what he's taken. That's the point flag. Little olive nymph. Let's see, where is it? And that's in the net. Okay, and there he goes. As I say, not the biggest of fish, but I'm happy enough with that. Okay, so that fish picked up, I think that was about 7 or 8 casts. As I say, fanning round. As soon as it landed, tightened up on the line, you've probably seen it there, and then I seen the bow wave straight after, so it was just keep it going, and it wouldn't long, and the fish nailed it. I'm not going to say the fishing's going to be like this all day long. So for a few waters I know that the boys have been fishing as well. The mornings definitely are still the target time, you know. Evenings, we're not getting the hatches of the evenings like we used to years ago. So the best of the fishing definitely the mornings. I'm going to keep going, see if I can pull a few more fish as I work down the arm. That's the other thing that because I'm fishing with the tippet itself in total with the droppers on is probably, what have I got there, there's 10, oh, closer to 15 foot, and then I've got my leader on as well. The whole lot altogether, it gets a bit tricky at times, getting that leader outside that top eye. Let's see, where am I? I am tangled, and then I've got to watch my back cast as well. So, once it's out there and you're fishing, it's fine. It's because I think you're gonna often know when the fish is onto your fly. And fishing that high in the water, that you're gonna see that bow wave. Oh, they didn't land very good. Fish moving there now. Cover that now. And Steve just missed another one. So it goes to show there's another fish following there now. Is he gonna have it? Go on, go on, go on. No. What I will do is, once I've worked down so far, which won't be long, I'll put a couple of back casts back up into this area. It's a big deep hole this is. I'll let it settle a while because I've obviously disturbed it. Right, now I've got to watch the back cast. Right, let's just stick that in there. Now, I don't know if you noticed, right in, that's half a rod length in off the bank. The fish just moved. So it's always worth covering that bit of water. And what I've got on here, as I say, with that longer tippet and fishing this method, I've got the advantage of surprising the fish and not spooking the fish. There's going to be a certain amount of disturbance there anyway with the tippet and the flies when they hit. It'll either spook a fish or it will surprise them and they can be on it. But that longer tippet definitely gives you the advantage. And I've said before now, when you fish in these conditions, I've got my intermediate leader on, the braid. And you can see it there, is that goes down quite quickly. So there's very little disturbance on the top. Oh, yes, oh, he's off. That picked it up as soon as it hit the surface. He's on it again. Here we go. Is he going to hit? No. Slow it up. Nope. I've got another pattern that I'm quite confident with this. It's the squirrel pattern. It's on a size 14. I often find it is a good pattern for this. I did have fish on last week. Actually, I might have a shot of that. I had that pattern on, I was fishing that through much the same, and this fish picked me up, cracking fish, and it hit so damn hard and it took off, and there was nothing I could do. It just took off so damn quick, and before I knew it, I was right on the back in. I upped the clutch on the reel, and that's, anybody that fishes the Hardy reel knows the clutch system on these is absolutely spot on. You know, you can handle big fish on this no problem with these big runs. The drag on it is very good. Well, that fish, even with it right up, you know, not right up, but high, it just took the line. Very powerful fish. So I'm retrieving with a steady figure of 8 when I get this knock. It was quite light, but I've missed it. But then I get the take, and straight away the fish has turned and made a run, and the run was just so powerful. So you'll notice I'm starting to palm the reel. This in turn will help slow the fish. But you've got to be very careful when you do this. If you apply too much pressure, that can snap your tippet. But you've also got to watch out for the handle. Make sure your hand is clear in the handle, because if that catches you, that's your tippet gone. So once the fish has made its first initial run, you'll have an opportunity. And this is where I'll adjust the drag. Now, setting the drag is very important. You can't just tighten it up. If you tighten too much, you're going to snap your tippet. Not enough, it's going to be pointless. What they do say is no more than 2/3 of your tippet weight. For me, it's just second nature. I've been doing it all my life. What you'll notice is that I've made 3 adjustments. The first adjustment, and then I'll pull some of the line off the reel. I'll know by pulling off the reel what weight I'm looking for. So I've had 3 attempts of getting exactly what I want. And now the reel is doing the work that it's paid for. Now I have covered playing a fish off the reel or hand lining before. And some of the comments coming back were suggesting that you're better off hand lining. Now that's fine if that's what you want to believe, but if you do a bit of research or ask any gilly around the world and they will tell you playing off the reel. Your reaction is nowhere near as quick as playing off the reel. The rod tip is performing a lot smoother and you've got a much better chance of landing that prize fish. Now, I'm not always going to be talking a big fish, because sometimes a big fish can be sluggish. Now, I'm not saying that every fish has to be brought in with the reel. For most of the times, it's never required, and we'll hand line. But it's good to get a bit of practice in, and doing this with the smaller fish. And sometimes it can be a bit more difficult when the fish takes you nearer the bank and you've got all the line on the floor. All you do then is use your index finger on the rod and let the fish take its first run. You're just letting the line slip through that finger. And at the same time, you're either reeling in, or you can even spin the spool in the palm of your hand. Oh, a little touch then. Okay, to give you a bit of an idea how quickly I'm moving down this arm and into the main lake. I should be able to cover this in about an hour and a half. That could be extended if I'm finding that I'm getting more knocks in one area. If I'm not, I'm going to continue moving. Possibly. I seen the fish move down there, picking something off the top, and I seen him following. I just slowed the retrieve up, and it picked it up. Go on, in your own time. Okay, there's something that can't be helped. Now the fish is picked up on the dropper, so during the fight the fish is obviously moving about. But what it's done, it's tangled up my tippet. Okay, I don't know if the camera was on when that happened. Well, what it was, I put the cast out. It was only on the water a second or so, and something came up. It smashed it so damn hard, caught me by surprise really, and smashed my point fly clean off. So I've got to go reset up, but the take was really aggressive. Steve, he just pulled another fish on that white and green, I forget the bloody name of it again, cat's whisker. Now this pattern that he's using is probably only about 1.5 inches long, and it's unweighted, and what he's doing is fishing it on the floating line. He's got his intermediate braid, so it will hold it down a little bit, and he's doing a steady to faster figure of 8 with it, and that's obviously catching the fish as well. So certainly higher up is the way to present the patterns at the moment, it seems to be. But then, as I say, the quality of the water is so damn good that even if the fish are on the bottom, if they want to go for it, they'll see that and they're coming up for it anyway. And sometimes that can result in what happened to me there. The fish is sitting lower and it's come up at pace and it's hit it so damn hard. But I'm going to get set up again and just give it another quick go. I could see a fish move out there then. Well, not move, it was underneath the surface.
My approach is never miss an opportunity to get the fly in the water. Even though we got the reeds in front of us, it's not that difficult. You just plonk it over, keep the rod tip a little bit higher, and if the fish does pick it up, you can always guide it towards the nearest opening. But I'm surprised at how many people I see just walk straight past this area. And the one good thing, the reeds will give me good cover, so I'm not going to spook the fish.
There you are, fish on. Oh, and he's off. I didn't get a good hold of him. I was walking and I had too much slack. Steve just picked another fish up then. He's still on that white thing, fishing near the top, and for me it's gone dead quiet.
Okay, so it appears the fish could slowly be starting to pick up on the lures. Now I can tell you that the following week I did go out with the lure. I fished the normal method during the morning, and then by the middle of the day I was on the intermediate with this pattern here. So I've chose this pattern purely because the fish have been seeing a lot of white since Steve's success. But I can tell you, success was short and sweet. It lasted for about an hour and a half with 6 fish to the net. A good few bumps and a few lost. But ever since then, it's been back to normal. Just the occasional fish. So it really does seem to be right place, right time.
I'm going to get a cup of tea. Just when I thought I'd go get a cup of tea, I was going to cast out to wind the line in. And I felt a little bump, and then not long after, fish was on. Strong fish too. Yes, it is. Are they? Okay, for me that's it now. But what I've demonstrated there is we can't predict the conditions, patterns that we'd normally be using. Now, Steve on the lure, a couple of lures being fished at the moment, still on the water, but we're closer now, getting on. The sun's quite high in the sky and the fish have certainly gone off. But getting out for those first few hours of the light is definitely the time to target when the fish are higher. Did pick that last one up, that was a little bit slower. Steve, on the other hand, with his cat's whisker, he's moved a good few, but they're chasing, they're not actually taking, but he's had a few fish on it all the same. So it goes to show, get out in the first things in the morning. So until the next video, take care.